Another glimpse into the future with what happened on My Universe mode. It's NXT, and we were in Cohasset, Massachusetts. I've never heard of the place, but it sounds cool. And we were opening the show with No Way Jose, who was in a singles contest with Lars Sullivan. And Sullivan went straight into it with a Lufez press and a big slam. He then lifted up No Way Jose for another slam, a gorilla press slam. Sullivan clubbed in Jose's chest, but Jose got up. He took it and then hit Sullivan with a Falcon Arrow, following it up with a comeback maneuver, a couple of big forearms, and an awesome looking spine buster. Jose continued his assault, hitting his signature slam on Sullivan, but Lars Sullivan reversed his finisher and smashed his knee in after that, picking him up and putting him straight back down with force. Using the freak accident, he went for the pin, and Lars Sullivan continues his winning streak, which is not very long because we've only had him on 2 shows. But on with the show, and on with our next match, which is for the hardcore title, as Eric Young defends against EC3. And of course, with this match being for the hardcore title, it was Falls Count Anywhere, and this was taken advantage pretty quickly as Eric Young hit a few moves on EC3 and sent the man outside the ring in the most painful way possible by kicking him off the top rope. Young headed to the outside and grabbed a chair, but EC3 caught his chair shot and got a few shots in on his own, including a dirty chair shot too. But soon enough, he was reversed as well. Eric Young then hit a nasty electric chair drop and a dirty power driver on the ramp. The painful looking ramp offense continued with Eric Young dropping down EC3 with a powerbomb, but he got overzealous after that. EC3 dodged a kick and then hit the Mr. Perfect neck snap and a harsh looking suplex on the ramp. EC3 would hit his weird signature DDT thing before having his next move reversed, and Eric Young countering it with a lifting DDT. Following a backbreaker, Eric Young hit another horrific powerbomb on EC3 and followed that up with the wheelbarrow into a neckbreaker. 1, 2, 3, and Eric Young has retained the Hardcore Championship. Next up, she's not like most girls, Nia Jax, and she was being forced to team with her current rival, Peyton Royce, who didn't have Billie Kay in her corner this time. I suppose she didn't need to when she was supposed to have Nia Jax. They were taking on the weird pairing of Candice LeRae and Mandy Rose in what was sure to be an interesting battle. It certainly was made interesting when Peyton Royce tagged herself in at the start of the match, like all those other tag matches we've had recently. Not sure if it was a good idea for Royce, as she immediately got hit with a Hurricane Rana. She went to tag out, but Nia Jax said no, dropped herself off the apron and walked off, leaving Peyton Royce to fend for herself, and at the same time, Mandy Rose illegally tagged herself in. Mandy Rose immediately put Peyton Royce in the corner and smashed her head in the turnbuckle several times before smashing her with a suplex and a tilt-a-whirl facebuster. We got a little bit of double teamness from Rose and LeRae with a double back body drop, then a Hurricane Rana and Asai moonsault from Candice LeRae. She finished it off with an avalanche neck breaker and went for the pin. And despite looking like she had her shoulders up for a bit there, Royce didn't kick out, and a win for the weird pairing of Candice LeRae and Mandy Rose. The NXT Tag Team Champions were out next, the Authors of Pain, but only one of them was in action, Akam, who was facing off against Victor of the Ascension, who also brought a bit of backup himself. And the two men got started with Victor hitting a backbreaker on Akam, but it wasn't too long before the other two on the outside got a bit heated. They started facing off, and soon enough, the referee would send both of them to the back. Neither man could believe what the referee was saying, and both threw grade A hissy fits, but the distraction was enough for Akam to recover and reverse Victor's next move, hitting him with a full forward slam and this crazy Death Valley driver. Following a back body drop, somehow Akam missed a punch, allowing Victor to grab him and Irish whip him into the corner, hitting him with a drop kick to the back. He then continued with the kicks with a spin kick, and then he drove Akam into the mat head first. He went for a kick, but this was caught by Akam, who clotheslined him down, picked him up, put him down with a spinning powerbomb, and that was it. Akam was your winner. We move backstage where NXT Women's Champion Asuka was having a bit of a heated exchange with her number one contender Ruby Riott. It started off verbal but soon changed when Ruby Riott headbutted Asuka. Riott threw Asuka into the wall, then grabbed a trolley and smashed her with it, and smashed her continually with a chair after that. After one more trolley shot, Ruby Riott did something different. First a standing senton, then she got on top of a box and hit an elbow drop and followed that up with a code red on the concrete floor. The brutal beatdown was only ended when Ruby Riott destroyed Asuka with a TKO neckbreaker again on the concrete floor. What next in that feud for the women's title? But we move on to the NXT main event now, and it features RTruth taking on the NXT champion Samoa Joe. But Samoa Joe didn't have the best of starts, especially when he has Aleister Black attacking him from behind. Black had got his shots in, but Samoa Joe still felt he could compete, so the match began. But obviously, as you can imagine, it began with RTruth getting the first hit with a horrible looking clothesline and then snake eyes on the top rope. Despite the pre-match attack, Samoa Joe was able to recover and reverse the corner clothesline. He then hit a belly-to-belly on RTruth and a nice tiger suplex. Samoa Joe would then hit what I can only describe as a weird-looking move before getting kicked in the gut. RTruth took control and hit Samoa Joe with a full forward suplex. Truth nailed Joe with a double axe handle off the top rope and a tiger suplex of his own, but his next move, a clothesline, was ducked. Samoa Joe kicked him in the gut, hit him with a powerbomb fake out. Joe had the advantage, so he hit an exploder, a running senton, a butterfly superplex, and finally a muscle buster. And this lethal combination of maneuvers ended up with RTruth getting pinned and Samoa Joe winning the match despite getting smashed up at the start by Aleister Black. And that's it for another edition of What Happened on My Universe Mode 205 Live. Next, like and subscribe.